Yeah. So I learned a new word today. And that word is lumpenproletariat. Which I guess if I didn't know what that means without looking it up on Wikipedia, kind of means that I am one. Which is kind of like self-defining slur. I guess I am. Lumpenproletariat. I'm not an academic. I haven't got any education past A levels. I'm 50 years old and I'm white, for want of a better term, although my ancestry stretches from North Africa, Far Eastern Europe and Western Canada. So probably if we were living in a very fascist state, my DNA would basically cause me to put into some kind of camp. So I'm very lucky that I live in a society where the politicians at least pretend to play by the rules. So yeah, so why am I recording this? My question is, and I get that this is going to draw a lot of flack, but sticks and stones, etc. And I understand that also this could get me removed from this convention, the Anarchist Research Centre number 6. I've come out without any paperwork because I wanted to record this in a very free flow kind of a way. And I also know that not many of the people attending this conference are going to bother to watch this video, which is cool as well, Ironically, can't get anarchists to do anything, can you? So yeah, I'm even less than ordinary. I am, on paper, I am a failure as a human being, and that's okay. I'm okay with it because, I've lived a fairly adventurous life. So yeah, and I get that I've already lost 10 people because I'm not an academic, and every word I say will subtract people from watching this video because it's just honest, it's from the heart. I'm trying to be respectful of what other people know. Yeah, that's how on the fly this is. I had to just check that everything was recording. And I also get that I'm going to approach the organisers, of this convention or this event. I'm not even sure what the correct nomenclature is, but the people I'm going to say in charge, so you'll have to forgive me. The people in charge of this event clearly pointed it at, a more academic audience. But I was moved by the person that was discussing his attendance at an event where they were talking about big data, and they took it badly that he wanted to know what big data was doing for the ordinary person on the ground. And that's my question. What is anarchism doing for the ordinary person on the ground? We don't have a model anarchist community, which is kind of the main point and the main thrust of the question I'm asking. It's like, how is it after many decades and lots and lots of very smart people talking about it, of which I am not one, and I'm trying not to ask this in the emperor's got no clothes kind of a way, but I have to be honest, that's what it is. This is just honest from the heart. I wanted to ask this question and make sure that I could couch it in as respectful and as inclusive a way as I possibly could. Hence, and this is my response to being essentially referred to, as me and my kind, as lumpenproletariat anarchists. And it's like, why don't we all pool a little bit of money and have somewhere that we can look to see how an anarchist community would function? We can talk about it forever if you like, because we have been doing so. We've always, there's always this, or some desperate people try and squat in an abandoned building or an abandoned piece of farmland and try and make a go of it, knowing that their time is limited. There's some smart people at this conference, some really smart people. But I have looked through the headings and I don't see anything saying, what we could all put in a few quid, buy a farm, find 10 or 20 people to live on it, and form an anarchist collective that wasn't constantly under threat. Take away that stress. And while you're taking stresses out of people's lives, get them to generate their own power. Get them to grow their own food. How little work is required to keep human beings alive and entertained and well fed and living a comfortable lifestyle. And I would put this to any members of Extinction Rebellion as well. If you want people to dial back on consumerism and not play the capitalist game, point me at the people that are happy doing it. Who does it? Who in the world? Probably the Amish, but that comes with its own religious baggage. See, I'm really walking in the woods here, talking to myself, knowing that there are maybe only 5 or 6 other people on planet Earth that will see this video. And I get it. And it is a childish question. But, in my experience, I'm a parent of a now grown-up young woman who I'm very proud of, because she does ask questions when people present her with the "because I said so" answer. So yeah, why not use this conference in a way that the people you read would be justly proud. I mean, if I was Bakunin and I talked about the end of bread, if I was Marx and I talked about the end of capitalism, I would want to know that there was, just 20 people on Earth living like that as a viewable example. I mean, it's not like you're not going to get your research value out of those 20 people. Even if it's only agricultural information or a minimum calorific intake information or minimum electricity requirements, the world would benefit from such a place. Buy a farm, invite some people, get volunteers, give them some sort of stake in said farm. How many anarchists are there worldwide? It's a very loaded term. Most people associate it with anarchy in the UK by the Sex Pistols and just think it's a bunch of punks. And, to be fair, people of the punk persuasion, like myself, were told of anarchy in 1977. We tried to talk about it. Some of us read books, some of us did university courses in politics, tried to understand what it's all about. What those people mostly failed to do, with very few exceptions, is try to get across to people what it would actually mean or what it would look like. How much money, how much time, how much are the 200 or so people that are at this conference, how much are they worth per day? I get minimum wage, I'm a nobody. You could argue that I don't even have the right to ask this question. I would much prefer someone else had asked this question. I'm not a particularly brave person, I'm not a particularly good or smart person. I've done horrible things to people, and like everybody else will continue probably throughout my life accidentally causing harm to yet more. But we could stop. And the bravest thing I'm going to say in this is I volunteer. Like the scene in the Hunger Games. I volunteer. I volunteer to ask the question. I volunteer to go to this place, even though I'm not the best qualified. But, you got to ask that question. Where is the anarchist homeland? Where is the piece of, where is the piece of land on which anarchists live and try and live by what they say and what they do all this painstaking research for? It's obvious that the people here have done so much work in their lives to push forward the concept of anarchy. Yet it takes someone stupid like me to say, well, where is it? And that's going to be the question of everybody you ever talk to. Now we've got the kind of technology available to us. We've got solar power, wind power, we've got open source agriculture, we could figure it out. If I had the brain power of 5 or 6 of the people at this con to create a political landscape or a cultural landscape that was inclusive, that was non-oppressive, so you could actually show people working 2 hours a day in the fields and then going home and being creative. And I say this also, again, to Extinction Rebellion. If you want people to give up so much, you need to show what that life would look like. Almost everybody in the Western world, with the exception of maybe 500,000 people who are completely disenfranchised, has access to the internet. has access to a possibly fair playing local council that's not going to just send in a death squad like they would if they could to the anarchist co-op in Argentina. You know, governments have got form. We need to know how to play the game. We need to see it being played. Even if you have to dance with the devil, surely, you know, and buy a piece of land on a planet that shouldn't be owned by anybody, you know, we have to treat our current civilization as the mother of a better one. So you don't fight them. A fetus shouldn't fight its mother. It relies on it for everything until it doesn't have to, until you've got the grown human that can make its own decisions. We need a society that's born like that. We need to play by the rules, possibly, a little bit. And we need to play with the rules a little bit. And just make this thing. But with, say, a maximum donation of a cup of coffee from Starbucks. Use money that would have gone to the capitalist system to pay for a less capitalist, more anarchic system where we can show people what living without leaders would look like. You know, we're comparatively smart people, all of us. And this is not meant as a rebuke to all the people. This is, you know, I wouldn't have thought that being working class and being by any measure of Western society quite poor, you know, although I have white male privilege, I mean, I felt it was okay to record this video in advance of asking, you know. But yeah, can't we put some of the resources we're putting into talking about it? What would you prefer? You know, the seed of an anarchist civilization, or the cost of a few people having degrees in a subject that no sane politician will ever entertain? Because the people that you're asking permission from have everything to lose. You know, and they have systems of retrenchment, and they have the laws, and they have the police and the army and all sorts of things that they can use to exert their will on us. But we need a few people to just stand up and say, I think, you know, your system is a bit obsolete. I think the way at which you produce things and the way at which you encourage consumerism, and which basically gives people a lot to lose, is broken and has a time limit. We're rapidly approaching the use-by date of capitalism and, you know, largely communism. We're approaching the use-by date of consumerism. We're approaching the use-by date of oligarchical, hereditary and political power. And to a large extent, religious power as well. You know, you're really saying that if you're a Christian, that you're not qualified to read the Bible, or if you're a Hindu, you're not qualified to read the Bhagavad Gita for yourself? Really? You know, so what if there was a physical place that was a university or a school for people that wanted to know more about anarchism in the real world? But we don't have it. We don't have it anywhere. And I'm very sorry to take up your time asking this question. You must have been asked before, but like all questions from children, you know, it's valid to me. It's, you know, I'd like to hear an answer. And, you know, I feel kind of stupid, but I wanted, you know, a short period of time in which I could ask that question. So to anybody that's watched the end of this video, I know it didn't really comprise much. I tried to make the background at least attractive, because I think these woods are beautiful. You know, you can perhaps edit out or blur out my face if you like. I'm not really fussed. I'm on enough YouTube videos talking about similar things. And, you know, if you want to get in touch, my email address is zachgale@mail.com. And you can flame me or exclude me or throw me out of this convention if you want. You know, fortunately you decided not to make it exclusionary on monetary grounds, and I felt that it was well worth a quid to show up and at least see what modern academic anarchist thought looked like. Because let's be fair, that's all there is right now. You haven't got working class anarchist thought in there. You're all largely academic. You know,